Namaskar and a very good afternoon. Hope you all had a wonderful lunch. Going ahead, we'll be starting with our next. This is not really a session. This is a workshop. You'll be exploring wild demo on AR and VR. Keyur is the real brainy behind this. So, not taking much time, I'll introduce you. No, we'll be starting our workshop on Immersive Technologies, AR, VR, digital twins, and drones. Please join me in inviting the chair of the session, Srimati Abha Shukla, Additional Chief Secretary, Energy, Maharashtra. Ma'am is not around, I'll just check with her. Shri Keyur, co-founder and CEO, Plutomen. Give him a huge round of applause, everybody. Dr. Aniruddha Roy, CTO, Genesys International. So please join us on stage. Mr. Derrick will be joining us online. He's the Chief Revenue Officer of RealWear. Mr. Bhagyesh Patel from Khodiyar Cat Center. Thank you so much, Mr. Patel, for joining us. Going ahead, we have Mr. Hiren Kanani, co-founder of Plutomen. Welcome, sir. I request Mr. Keyur to go through us with the demo. Yeah.
So thank you so much, Raji sir, for making this happen actually. What we will do here is, the purpose of the workshop would be first understanding what are the basic problem statements of power industry. Since you already are from that industry, I think more or less everyone would be aware of the problems. We'll focus on what all new tech, AR, VR, digital twin, UAV, assisted reality, how they can actually be useful in improving the efficiencies, operational efficiencies, and also look into safety of the sector where we are heading towards. We'll try to be as hands-on as possible, especially we'll try for assisted reality VR, where we'll be giving live demos, and at the later part of the session, if the time permits, we'll have some hands-on demo where last 15-20 minutes, we will try to come to your place and we can have those real-time demonstration also possible. And we will have the digital twin and drone related session being conducted by Aniruddha sir, where he will be taking us through the process and how typically they have been in this industry and what all they do and what is his vision towards creating a digital twin for the utility sector. Quick introduction on Plutomen. We are a company which focuses on XR and AI, and ultimately it's about bridging the skill gap and driving digital transformation at the industries. The focus is on our solutions where it is about simplifying the training, maintenance, and remote assistance. These are the three solutions which we have. We call it as remote collaboration, digital work instruction, and training. I'll directly move to the core purpose of the session, where, see, these are few of the current challenges. And before going into it, see, when we talk about challenges, correct, as in there are different infra, as in different companies would have different challenges. When it comes to generation, when it comes to transmission, when it comes to distribution. There are some underlying challenges and there are some specific challenges because of even the modernization which is happening, correct? Few basic challenges which we have tried noting down, one being the aging infrastructure. Basically, we have decade old infra in place, and those infras typically require more monitoring, more maintenance, and with outdated systems, it is also difficult to add new technology to it, correct? So now that's one challenge. Second, with again new technology like solar, renewable typically coming in play, the integration of distributed energy resources, another challenge which we have on the grid. The foremost challenge which we have seen is the workforce who have been in the system are nearing retiring it, especially the heavy infra workforce, and how to use their knowledge and make the new generation which is coming on field, how can we transfer those knowledge is an area where technology can be very useful. Other regulatory compliances, rising cost, and the last point which is very important is there has been now over reliance on energy, correct? From the perspective of all our infra in terms of hospitals to communication to each of the thing are over dependent on energy. So any small downtime can impact very largely. So how to reduce that is another area where the challenge is there. An interesting study was done where, see, the major thing ultimately, while we talk about technology, everything revolves around people, and people are the strongest and the weakest link. So how can we actually utilize technology to empower the people is the actual goal. And so these are few of the studies, correct, where the downtime, the defects, the safety incidents, those happen because of either some negligence of the people involved or because of the skill gap in the people involved. So again, when there are challenges, there are opportunities, and that is what we are trying to cover in this session. We'll be talking about various technologies and the opportunities ranging from predictive to data-driven operations, remote and assisted operations, intelligent analytics, immersive workforce training, and again utilizing digital twin for extended asset life cycles. Again, these are trends. I'll just quickly skim through it because I'll focus more on the live demos. Energy transmission and grid modernization, remote work and digital transformation, affordable and scalable technology, I think is always the ask coming in from the executives, correct, and the industrial IoT and smart infra. So these are the, again, quickly summarizing the technology on which we will be focusing on. AR and VR are typically used for enhancing the training, procedural guidance and remote collaboration. Digital twin, people typically are utilizing it for predictive maintenance and performance optimization. Drones are typically used for remote inspection of critical infra, reducing human risk. And assisted reality are used for remote support, field technician training, and digital transformation. What I'll do is I'll now quickly segment by segment, I'll call the speakers. For assisted reality, we have Derrick, who is the Chief Revenue Officer of RealWear, who will just quickly take us through what assisted reality is, how their device typically operates, and then we will have a demo on the solutions which can be utilized on the assisted reality glasses. Then we will have digital twin and session on drone. And lastly, we will conclude with AR and VR setup. Post this, we will have a short panel discussion where we would have Mr. Vikas Gupta, Kiran Gupta ji, and Sreedhar ji being part of the panel. And then we will have some question answers and hands-on demo. Can we have the person who is, we need to connect Mr. Derrick. Derrick, are you audible? As in, are we audible to you?
You are indeed. You are indeed. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we are able to hear you. Derrick, now it's over to you. You can take on the session for next 10-15 minutes, give an overview on assisted reality and RealWear.
Okay. Hi. Look, it's great to see you, and apologies I can't be in the room with you. What I just wanted to do is to talk to you for about 10 to 15 minutes. Because of some errors over in Heathrow today, in Heathrow Airport in the UK where I am, they have closed all of the flights in the whole of the airport today. They kind of tell me that they need some assisted reality and some remote support to try to help them with their infrastructure, as there is a major power outage in the UK that has delivered those issues. So I talk to you from an airport over in the UK today. My name's Derrick Sawyer, and I look after RealWear. RealWear were founded back in 2016, and we started shipping devices for heavy industry to deliver hands-free operations. As our partners, Plutomen, just talked about, we were always focused on enabling the human element. It was us that we started talking about, could we deliver a hands-free knowledge transfer platform to overcome the skills gap that existed in the industry. And that was in power, utilities, oil, gas, petrochemical, etc. So we set about delivering that. And with nearly 100,000 devices out there in the field today, we are now delivering as a market leader a mixture between innovation and safety.
Derrick, are you
Because
sharing
our
any
clients
slide?
continually, the slide will not allow me to share at the moment.
Just a second.
Okay, so bear with me just 1 second, and I will see if the permissions have been granted now.
We could see you.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we are able to see
Can
your
you hear me and
presentation.
see me?
Yes.
Okay, apologies. It threw me out totally when I tried to share. So apologies. I had hoped that I was going to be at my desktop. So what I'm just going to do now is I'm just going to allow you to see the screen, and that will help. So please confirm that you can see my screen now.
Yes.
Is that okay? Okay, thank you. So as we were founded in 2016 and we recently made acquisitions that I'll talk to you about, we were looking at global adoption via the core industries, and all of these industries are learning from other industries around the world. But you can see the impact that we're making over here in power and utilities around the world. And I'll talk to you a little bit about that as we go through. But first of all, I need to perhaps explain that what assisted reality really is. And everyone in the room will understand about the extended reality spectrum, from physical reality all the way through to virtual and fully immersive. But we sit here in the assisted reality space. And perhaps just to take a second to say, what does that mean? Imagine you are driving a car. The real importance as you're driving a car is to focus on the road. And we are so focused in assisted reality on safety and enablement. So assisted reality, and if you're driving, you simply glance down to find out if you've got enough fuel, the right direction, how you're going to complete your journey. And assisted reality takes that same. You simply glance down into for example, a heads-up display to obtain the right information to do your job safely and right first time. That impacts the customer satisfaction, but it also impacts people who actually do that job safely. So what is our device and where do we come from? Our device is a wearable assisted reality headset that is used for remote site inspections, troubleshooting, repairing, significantly reducing the time that it takes to train on board, as this sector has significant staffing challenges and expertise. We look at the thermal and ATEX capabilities as our device is able to go into class 1, div 1, zone 1, ATEX restricted areas. But what we do is we also take the capability of thermal imaging into this sector. Whether it's looking at insulator inspections, diagnostics, how we're going to look at the distribution for the power line inspections, the bushing failures and the made to inspect. But the real power of thermal is the ability to go hands-free into those areas so we can still optimize safety and to go hands-free into those areas. and use the power of thermal technology. And we have backed the market leader, and we operate and we've delivered this with FLIR, the market leader in thermal technologies. And we are now delivering that on our ATEX devices into power grids, state utilities around the world. That talks to us about preventative maintenance, and it's really important. If we can stop failures from happening, if we can keep that consistent, we can deliver against the operations maintenance, look at the safety and compliance checks, get them right first time, significantly reduce the time it takes to train somebody, and knowledge transfer. As our partners Plutomen spoke about, the retiring skill sets, we're now talking about knowledge transfer from the old to the new and using the same technology. Knowledge retention, we cannot retire that knowledge when our staffing retires. And we need to look at asset management, visual documentation, and incident documentation. And we're now using AI at the new edge to allow us to help make those decisions. And our partners at Plutomen spoke to articulately about that. But let's just take a second to look at this statement, that 50% of all process industries or process safety accidents happen during downtime. So we deliver this in two ways. If we can help by eliminating that downtime to drive predictive maintenance and proactive maintenance, then we can also help stop these process injuries. The second part of stopping those process injuries is if we give the staff the capability of real-time data to do their job right first time. Nobody should fear for their health purely because they're not sure how to deliver against the task that they are asked to do. So I'll give you a couple of examples, because whilst this innovation is changing the way that the sector works, by no means are we bleeding edge. By no means are we risking our organization by trying to do something. The world's largest energy company, State Grid over in China, has adopted the RealWear glasses to look at AR and assisted reality for live line maintenance. They chose it after looking at all of the different options that they had. But because of its safety conscious form factor, and because it was 100% hands-free, then the human adoption of being able to deliver against the challenges were helpful. And if we look at the challenge of renewable energy, as we look to the future rather than just the now, Vestas were challenged with a double challenge of a retiring workforce, but they had to transform from, at the same time, from paper-based process, allowing them to have the right information, whether it was at the top of a wind farm, whether it was on the hulls, or whether it was on in their construction areas, allowed them to deliver against the results that they wanted. I'll take a couple of seconds to read Mark Jackson's quote there. For the first time, the technology is getting out of the way. Finally, we can allow our technicians to focus 100% of their time to put value into our products. For a company like ours, a reduction in time spent on non-value added tasks, such as registration of parts, operations, etc., gives them a real competitive edge. And simply, they are able to overcome the retiring workforce challenges there. And again, when we talk about what happens, safety and productivity and innovation have often come at different compromises. And it is our belief that if you talk about some of the mixed reality, you start to move into alternative sectors, because you do compromise safety but improve productivity. Here, as we start to look at industrial assisted reality, we start to allow ourselves to meet productivity and safety and start to move into the right direction. Because nobody should go to work fearing for their health, okay, because they don't have the right information to do the job first time. So I'll hand back across to the room, but I will just stay on for a few minutes here to see if there's any questions or anything to ask. I know that our partners, Plutomen, will be delivering some demonstrations in the room, and they'll be talking to you about how the technology works, and actually a chance to actually see the technology for yourself. But I'll just stop sharing now and see if there's any questions or anything that I can answer into the room.
Yes. Any questions for Derrick? Yeah.
When you actually do the demo, people
Correct.
will
I
have
think Derrick will do the demo, so that I think then the questions might come in. We'll start with the demo here. Okay. Just change the screen. Yes. So Hiren, if you can come on stage. So these are the two solutions which we'll be showcasing on the glasses. So these are the assisted reality glasses. These are a bit different from typically when we see there are meta glasses which are VR glasses. You would have seen MR glasses like HoloLens and other devices. In assisted reality, what happens, the major benefit which you have is you have your eyesights clear. So the safety, industry safety is taken care. This again, when this fits into the helmet also. So the stability of the device is quite high. You have a camera here. So from where you can capture images, it could be replaced with thermal as well. And you can take live images, videos, and then this is a screen. So actually it is known as HMT, which is head mounted tablet. So it is nothing but a different form factor of a tablet. So it has a screen, it has a camera as well, and yes. So now he'll give a live demo. So now what we'll have two demos, one with remote collaboration, where typically the use cases like remote troubleshooting, remote inspection, remote survey will be shown. And then there are digital and guided work instruction, where we have seen that endpoint inspection or maintenance are typically done on paper, and then a person is going to an office, and then typically either they'll punch to SAP or they will upload the entire image or the paper into the system. What we are trying to do is we are trying to also bring that to the person directly, where they can do it from a phone or they can do it through smart glasses, voice operated, and the report generated can directly be punched to the system. I think over to you, Hiren, if you can just. So it can cover, so it's a I'll show you live, that will.
सर ये आपने एक्सटेंड पे डाल रखा है लैपटॉप में
Extend करना पड़ेगा.
एक्सटेंड पे
this
डाल
which
रखा है
we found out when we did a demo in KPTCL. Karnataka, all across KPTCL, they have substations, and relay setting is a big problem. There are very few people who know how to do the relay setting. Every time something goes faulty, these fellows will be running from Bangalore to northern Karnataka to southern Karnataka. They are always everywhere and nowhere. So they found it they have not bought it yet, but they found it very good. Any technician on ground, go with this, and see, the camera is connected to the cell phone of the person, and cell phone connected to the internet. So the people in the real expert sitting in the control room, they can see what he is seeing. Now if whatever he see, anyone sitting anywhere in the world, they can see that on the screen. So he will tell, stick kar do, idhar kar do, idhar move karo, and he does that, it happens. Yeah, like a remote. So technician, yeah.
So will you screen बताए? RealWear वाली स्क्रीन
Yes.
तो ये भी खाली ऊपर रखना.
You take the case of a power station, a turbine or a something. The expert is sitting somewhere else, some other country. He has to fly down and till the time the downtime. But 90% of the things can be done remotely. The local technician go have this glass, and he will tell exactly. And on top of it, later Keyur will explain what Plutomen has done. So they have documented all the instruction manual. Yeah, all the SOPs, you can see it on that small screen.
We started this in Tata Power. Like the technicians and all to kind of recall every SOP, and like if there is something critical, especially in the also in the transmission lines going for the inspection and all. So this is also helpful very much in the safety, I think. Yeah,
And
thanks.
the biggest advantage is that you can see hotspot. The thermal thing brought into this is a great invention. Good old days, thermovision cameras used to cost in millions of rupees. Now it is less, but still, when you have it, you get both. If you're looking at your transformer or your line, anywhere there is a hotspot, you will see it immediately. Otherwise, you will get to know only when it burns.
Correct. So the screen, if you see the small pop-up, that is a screen which Hiren is viewing on his eyes. Correct. So this screen is what you are seeing as a pop-up, and so the assumption. So is it audible? Hello. मेरे नज़दीक आके बंद हो जा रहा है क्या? Yeah, this is work. Oh. No problem. I'll try to be louder. So basically, the screen which Hiren is wearing. So this is the pop-up and the background screen. Just for the demo purpose, assume the web is the expert and the person who is wearing the glass is the frontline worker who is on the field. Correct. The small pop-up is the screen which is visible to the workman, and the expert screen is on the back side. Hiren, if you can now. So the communication can happen in two ways. One is the frontline worker can connect through the contact book and directly connect with the expert the way we do a video call. Correct. The other option is we can create a session. By the expert can create a session and send that code. That code, once he enters into the Plutomen Connect app, they will get synced and they'll start interacting with each other. Kiran, if you can start.
Sure. So here you can see it, right?
Doesn't play a foul.
Yeah. Okay. So let's set one scenario over here, right? So there is a one field persons. Maybe he is doing some kind of a inspection activity or a troubleshooting activity, or maybe any kind of other activities, right? If he required any kind of a support from an expert, and he wants, definitely like in a power industries we require to do a safety concerns as well, right? So our both the hands are free. I am seeing this display which you are seeing over here, right? So it will look like to me around 7-inch display over here. Right, so it's not like this is very small so I cannot see anything. It will look like around 7-inch display to me. I can read the PDF file as well in this screen. Right, very easy. I will show you how I can. So now let's take example. I want to connect with the expert. Right. Plutomen Connect. So it's a totally voice tunable device. You can directly fire any kind of a voice and it will take a command very easy. Select item 4, contact list. So you can see it, right? So within the organization, you can directly see your contact list, like which kind of expert is available into your domain or into your specific stations. You can directly get the list over here, right? Page down. So you can see it. It will take mic command very easily, right? And this will work up to 120 dB noise as well. So for example, if you are working in a very noisy environment,
So then,
sure, yeah. So just bear with me because I am giving a command to this device as well. So yeah, okay. So now Now let me initiate a call, right? I need some expert help, right, for some kind of a use case. Call user 5. So you can see it, I have initiated a call and the expert will directly notify in his desktop or a laptop or any kind of a mobile device as well. End call. Back. Create karo sir. Mirroring કર્યું છે ને, it's mirroring issue. Just remove this cable. Mirroring cable. This one. Yeah, I will go over there. I just need. Sure. એક મિનિટ.
હવે કરી લે. મારું વાઈફાઈ કર દો.
વાઈફાઈ નહીં, આ મિરરિંગનો ઇશ્યુ છે. પાછું લગાવી દો.
થઈ ગયું કનેક્ટ.
થઈ જશે. જોઈન. Select item 2. 100 04 866 0. Accept. Join session. You can select the presenter and start.
So if you see, you could see an icon of a small device here, and there is an icon of a laptop here, correct? So I'll select the icon with RealWear as a presenter and start the session.
Just bear with us because we are using a mobile data everywhere and the connectivity is very slow over here. Mute. So now you can see it. My view is directly visible to expert. Right. Now this is the camera which I am holding. Right. So this is a 45-degree movable camera. If I want to show something over the heighted area, I can do it. If I want to show something on a depth area, I can do it. And this device is also providing a 5x zoom level facility as well, right? So let me show you that one as well. Zoom level 2, you can see it, right? Zoom level 3, right? So actually in this screen, I am seeing like what the streaming is available for the expert end, right? So I can also see the same streaming over here as well. Zoom level 1. Now let's take an example. I am facing some issues over here, maybe in a transformer or any CSS or a BSS or any kind of equipment, right? Zoom level 3. Freeze. So now we can focus on any specific area. We can freeze that specific area and we can explain the issues to the expert as well, and expert can freeze from their end as well. So it's a two-way communication. Voice is also there. Drawing, annotations, any kind of interactions, you can do it to get the assistance from an expert. And so Keyur, you can just you can see it, right?
So if you see, I am trying to mark and also give him a guidance that okay, this is an area where you need to look. Correct. So voice is already there, visuals are also there, but then we can go specific that okay, this is an area where please look into. Correct. Change this, correct? We can capture the entire session also. We can record the session. We can capture snapshots of each of the time that okay, this is done, we need to capture a snapshot, and that will again remain in a repository. So later on maybe we can use it as a training video or we can use it as an evidence as well.
Correct. Also like while taking a help from the expert, if we want to add vendors as well, right, for that specific equipment. So you can add the vendors as well. Vendor can see the same screen and he can also guide us to resolve that specific issue as well.
So we can have multiple users. So someone can join from phone, multiple people can join from web also. So there could be 6-7 people joining in and solving the problem as well.
Correct. So this is the case of you can say remote inspections or a remote troubleshooting or remote maintenance, right? So now let's take an example. Keyur is an expert or maybe Keyur is a site manager and he wants to do any kind of an inspection activity as well, right? He generates the reports based on the help of me, I myself as a site person, right? So I can connect with the Keyur, and Keyur can directly open any kind of a SOPs or checklist within this call as well, and he can execute it very easily. Yeah, Keyur, you can just
Yes.
go to the checklist.
So there are two things. One is, as an individual, while I am on the site, I can myself perform a checklist. Other option is that my manager, who is in the office, can just tell me to review or walk through the site, and I can do the inspection sitting at my office as well, and I can capture live evidences. So let's say this is one of the checklists which is assigned to me. I can start with that checklist and
Select site.
I can start the inspection. So here the frontline person is only acting as a person who is navigating through the site, and the expert or the manager is looking into the checklist through the eyes of the expert. So this is a checklist. This is visible to the expert. I can directly control that, okay, this is okay, the radiator condition does not seem okay, and I can actually capture the live image, and this will directly be pulled back into the report while they are so this way I can fill in a checklist remotely, as in basically remote inspection, remote site surveys. Those are the options which can be utilized. This other use case which we are talking about is the use case where the frontline worker themselves can fill the checklist. Hiren, you can move to that phase. Sure. I can cut this call.
End call.
So before we go to the next one, can we put in our queries?
Yes,
Some
yes, please.
question?
Sure.
So as you mentioned the screen, so the same screen would be viewable to both the expert and the workman, right? And the expert, when the expert would open the SOPs, will that also be viewable to the workman? No. Okay.
The person who is at a remote site, he is doing the remote inspections or remote troubleshooting kind of thing.
Right.
So I am a field person.
Right.
To complete the inspection, to complete the inspection is my job, for example, I can do it directly from my end. But if to complete the inspection is a remote person job, he can access any kind of SOPs and checklist, and he can guide it. He can, you can say, through the help of me. Like let's take an example. This is area 1 or this is part 1 which I need to check. So
Yeah.
you can guide just through some kind of a command like check this, remove this one, and then just check the parameter of this, and you can take a live evidence through this remote collaboration. Right? So it will be easy for them to complete the remote inspections. There is no need to come for that specific person to travel from site 1 to site B, site 3 for inspection. You can do it from remotely, and you can complete n number of site inspections very easily.
Okay.
So these things.
But,
Yeah, sure.
Basically, Hiren, I have a query that if somebody has not SOP in the field placed, and somebody is placing or somebody is guiding them, then I think there is maybe there is a lot of time wastage for things to be completed. Instead of that, we have something which have to be placed with ground men also. Basically, for SOP purpose, the groundman should be clear that what he has to check 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Instead of he's searching something and somebody is assisting from the remote.
No, so there are two use case. One is simple remote assistance. Other is when the same use case which you talked about. That is the second use case we'll show you now. Is where what will happen is the checklist is assigned to the workman. He can pull out the checklist. Hiren, can you just unlock this? So this is a screen. So there are two parts to this. One is creation of a checklist or an SOP. Through our platform, you can create your checklist, your SOPs, and then it can be assigned to your lineman, your workman, correct? And it could be in a group of people, as in manager can view, they can sign, and then only the report will get generated. So all those hierarchies are there. What I will showcase now is, let's say there is a checklist which is assigned to a person who is going on a field. Hiren, if you can directly go to the, yeah, I'll go to the, yes.
Correct. So this is my screen. You can see it, right? Now, let's assume I am on a field, right? And I want to execute some kind of a inspection activity, correct? So there are two ways. Either I can directly access any kind of SOPs and I can execute it, or either the site manager or the manager can create some kind of a work order or task and he can assign to me, right? So you can see there are all the modules are available over here. Select item 3. So this is also one good options in this device. For example, if you are facing any kind of issues in a pronunciations to fire a command, right? It will take a default command in a number ways as well. So you can see a different number available onto the screen. This is a simple command like select item and the number, and it will take your command very easily, right? So now you can see these two inspection activity assigned to me. So I can start from directly over here, select item 10.
And through our platform, what we have done is you can configure it in any language also. So whatever you have put in language will be displayed here. So that way also it becomes easy for the frontline worker to execute.
Select item 10. Start.
So I guess this was one of the query, correct? As in if they want to access the SOP directly, correct? So this is already there.
Okay.
My query is only that we have a time bound and TAT around system in our Noida Power Company Limited. So certainly we need something to be resolved within a TAT. So if somebody is searching out lot of things in the field and technology will not assist, then it would get the problem is something different.
Correct, correct.
Hello.
Yes.
I am from a distribution company of Gujarat. Actually, I find two use cases. Maybe you can help us. One is to detect the theft, like direct hooking or from inside. You can check the meter and record it. And second is it can help to my line staff. As this madam said that it will be helpful for the safety aspects. So before climbing up to the pole, if I found that something is wrong or the pole or a transformer center, so it will be more useful. So that's why I ask you the question, what is the range of this camera? Because in this scene, I'm not found that the camera is capturing even the small thing clearly.
No, right now we are not able to see properly over here. I will give you a live hands-on of this device. Here, this is not clear. The many reasons are there. Its mirroring is going on from my laptop to this particular screen. Actually, this is 48 megapixel camera with 720 HD resolution. So you will get a very decent clarity to identify any kind of object.
So how far, 100 meter, 200 meter?
No, no, not 100.
10 to 15 meter, okay.
But it will depend on the GPS connectivity, signal strength. It totally depends on how much connectivity is there.
Yes.
So signal strength is poor, then I will not get clearly.
The second thing is, it is available thermal imaging in there?
Yes.
Because for the thermal imaging, we have the issues of the, like today's MBCC project is going on, so most of connector fails. So due to thermal imaging, it is possible, but your range is the 10 meter. So it is not viable because the normal pole in the distribution utilities are the, means the 10 meter, yeah, more than 10 meter for the, so your variation, it's also need to know about that range. Distance wise, your thermal imaging capacity is efficiency is what?
That is
And
also in
temperature,
between.
what kind of temperature,
Yeah.
range of temperature detect by you?
That I will check and let you know. But the efficiency you will get it in a 10 to 15 meter range maximum in a thermal as well. Yeah, that I need to check. That I need to
Or
check.
the,
with
because
the
of the
business.
sum of the layer is there, so.
That definitely I will check in.
Concept is fine.
I got it. I got your point as well regarding the use case. I will check and will let you know.
Maybe we can do a live demo, correct? We come with the thermal camera and check whether you are able to.
No, because we have the already thermal camera in Gujarat for the piloting project. We are the research cell, GPRD is the one of the So we do the with thermal gun kind of the
Correct,
equipment
that
is a
flare.
flare. Or we measure the temperature or all the things kind of for the remotely. But it is for the laser beam technology for
Correct.
that. So it is give the accurate reading.
So the
for
camera
that.
which
Because is the temperature is the main thing for the burnout of the any kind of the connection. Because in electrical line, the fault occur in the point of the connections normally, not in between. That's
so the camera which is used for thermal is flare only. That's an extension which comes, and we are based out of Ahmedabad also. So maybe
no, you will come at the IIT Gandhinagar. We are sitting.
okay then, yeah.
Definitely, we'll take a live.
Okay.
Sir, I'm having one query, sir. That command, I just want to know that language of command. Is it support that any other command other than English?
Yeah, so almost all the languages are supported in this device.
For commanding, means you are commanding a select 10, select
No.
like this way that
Yeah.
someone said that does
So
select
you can
row,
convert
yeah.
in a Spanish, in a Chinese, right? But the local language support is not still available over there.
Okay.
That is also in working mode. So definitely in nearest future you will get a local language support.
Because now how we want to implement this solution that most of the technicians are from the local background and they are know only that local language only.
So you
that's
can
why
define like I have just defined select item. You can define select 1, select 2, select 3. That is totally possible. So
Yeah,
that is
that's
up to you
possible,
what kind
but-
of a text you can set
Okay.
for a default command, but it will be not available on a local language. जैसे कि मेरे को बोलना है कि item 1 select करो for example.
yes.
That is not available.
Someone said maybe said in Odia, someone Bengali that yes.
Hiren, एक बार डेमो खत्म कर लेना तो we'll have other speaker also. So if you can, ये वापस करना पड़ेगा.
Select item 4.
So your showcase.
Select item 4. So you can see it, right? The checklist or SOPs which you have configured that can be directly available over here. Hello. So now I can mark. I can select any kind of answers very easily through the voice command, right? Next. Also, I can see the questions very easily, like a radial condition, right? This condition is okay or not okay, for example, right? So let me select the answers like not okay, not okay. Hello. Now suppose if we want to define any kind of a rule over here, right? Suppose like radiator condition is not okay, then you need some kind of a evidence as well as a reference. So you can take evidence as well. Evidence can be on a normal image mode or a thermal image mode. That can be anything. You can record the video as well as a evidence as well. Image. Zoom level 2. Take photo. So likewise, you can take evidence very easily. Right. Next.
And let's say while doing the inspection, again you want to connect with the expert, there is an option to connect.
That
So
is also possible. Next. Yes.
Impair your vision.
So
Because-
my vision, so my line of sight is clear. You can see it, right? I can work very easily. And for example, if I don't need this screen for doing some kind of work, I can move it up, move it down, whatever I want.
Right. But if I'm working with a medium voltage application, usually I'll have my PPE on, my
Yeah, so,
protective equipment.
so PPE helmets, there are a lot of extensions of device. So
So actually for a demo perspective, I am using this one. On a live cases, this device will be directly attached with the helmet.
there are a lot of extensions. So with PPE kits, so it goes in healthcare also. There are a lot of segments where this goes. So there are all extensions available based on the end application. So that should not be a problem. And if some of the people can come here, I guess there are a lot of empty space because they are
How
not able
much
to
would
view.
be the weight of this? Weight of this add-on?
350 grams.
350 grams. Because apart from, I think technologically it really sounds good and we can have lot many use cases, but I think when it comes to execution and actually the teams adopting to any technology, so that's where the comfort of the team also need to be understood. So 350 grams and you said your line of sight is
My
clear.
line of sight is clear. So actually like when you are going to use this kind of a device, so there are some kind of a mechanism available over here, like how to set this screen with near to your eyes. Are you a left eye dominant or a right eye dominant, right? So
Okay.
that kind of a basic settings are there, so you can actually view the 100% portion of this screen. So definitely we are providing that kind of a training as well before deploying on a live environment.
And it can be fit on the helmet. So what happens? Half of the weight of the device is then taken care by
The helmet.
helmet. Yes, yes.
But still it will add to the existing weight of the helmet.
Correct.
And
Hello?
even the camera, I mean that just by the verbal command, I mean there you
Yes,
don't
yes,
have
yes.
to-
So you can use this device with the voice command only.
Yeah,
So there are many type of a different or a default command is also available, like navigate home, navigate back,
Okay.
page up, page down. So the whole device can be directly accessible through voice command only.
Okay.
Because like there is no any kind of a touch available over here, right? Because it's a HMT device.
And is it detachable also, like just in case we fix it to the helmet?
Yeah.
But then, I mean, there could be some procedures where where the workman is very confident, like the simple one or the routine ones. So maybe if it is something like an accessory which is detachable, and then like when we feel that we are going for some other like a critical one only, then we can just use it.
Yes. We
It's
can do
there.
that. Yes.
Thank you.
Hello. I have one question. Is this device compatible to communicate with local meter having RF or Wi-Fi connectivity, or sensors which having a capability to communicate over the Bluetooth or Wi-Fi? So is this device can communicate, so can a remote user can also see the sensor data and meter data also?
Yes. So there we have to do a configuration on software. So IoT data and all can be overlaid onto this solution, and those data can be viewed if required. So that is possible. It's just a software which needs to be typically customized and the data to be shown.
Yeah.
नहीं गलत कर रहा है. So I guess Hiren एक बार ये खत्म कर. Maybe last 10-15 minutes we'll have this. We can.
While they're doing that, an ignorant question. At any point, did you consider not having a head mount and maybe an autonomous robot by itself, so that you are completely free for your degrees of freedom?
So that level of work is also ongoing, correct? Maybe not we, but there are some companies who would already be working on creating robot-based.
No, but from your perspective, since you have invested in this specifically, was there a specific value chain that
So
you
see,
saw was unique?
our approach is, see, ultimately what we are seeing currently is the skill gap, correct? So the problem currently which we are facing is maybe the person who is near to the equipment or the object where the problem is, he might not be completely skilled enough to execute those tasks. So if we are able to improve the capability and capacity of that individual who is near to the area where the trouble is, it becomes easy, or at least the overall efficiency of the system increases. So that's our goal. Our focus of a company is to reduce the skill gap and improve the productivity. So that's the focus.
Thank you.
Okay. So you guys can see it, right? I can easily execute any kind of a check sheet. Because of a time constraint, I am not going to demonstrate a SOP. That is also same. You can configure any kind of SOPs, and you can access it very easily through the voice commands. You can access any kind of a library data as well, suppose video, PDF, or any kind of a line diagram files, right? And that can be easily visible over here, right? And also in a market, there is a higher configurable model is also available, in which you will actually see this screen is around 10 to 12 inch screen, like a big tablet, right? So it's very easy to see. And when you are using with the helmet, the steadiness is very, very good, right? So you will actually see like this is my tablet or my laptop screen. Okay. Yeah.
Fine. So I think we'll from here we'll move to
System.
So we'll move to the next technology on digital twin and drones. I'll invite Dr. Aniruddha Roy ji to please take it forward. I'll just change the laptop.
Hiren? Hiren? Here. Till the time he starts. So, just wanted to check this SOP. Like one is the expert can check in and make the changes and advise. Is it possible the other way around also? The workman from the field can also see and counter check the SOP. Maybe like there is a field situation which is different. So is that possible? He can view. And can he make the value add in the SOP also then and there? Change of a step or a procedure, like a standard procedure wanted an X activity to be done, but the field situation is different and it is not doable. So maybe not a feedback kind of a thing, or maybe some okay. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Okay. 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 Thanks.
Yeah, good afternoon to all. Thanks, Keyur. So, the presentation that I'll be making now will be dealing with the two aspects. One is actually about the 3D digital twin, and also how the aerial systems, including drones, can help to generate the digital twins and what are the implications and things like that. So broadly, I'll briefly introduce what is that we do, who are we, what is the framework in which we actually operate with our utility asset management. What is that digital twin is all about, because the concept has evolved, it's still evolving, the definitions are getting evolved, people are trying to find a new meaning out of this, and the interpretation goes from one industry to another industry. So while we are doing this digital twin, what is the role of this aerial and the terrestrial systems for the survey and mapping? Also, what are the value propositions and benefit to the power industry? So briefly, we are a 25 years old Indian company. By and large, we are involved in mapping and survey across the globe. Those of you are familiar with Google Street View. We create and generate the data set. We have licensed that data for many of the states to Google. Many of the data sets that you see it in Apple Maps, we create those, and for many other autonomous vehicles that you see around the globe, our partners actually offset the work to us and we generate those data. So one of the very interesting aspects is that way back in 2010-11, we brought in India the concept of LiDAR for the survey and mapping. And that was mounted on the static tripod. It was also there in the backpack. You can carry the LiDAR. You can put it in a offlet. When drone came, we tried to put it on the drone. It's in helicopter and also in the manned aircraft. So the utility of the LiDAR and the aerial systems. And very interestingly, we are into this survey and mapping, and it's a very gray area. Historically, maps have been used only for gathering the intelligence ever since the British time. It was never seen as a beneficial for doing any societal work. Until recently, there are lots of ifs and buts posed by various ministries that what should people can actually map in India, in the territory of India, and what not. So a lot of delegation and industry representation actually went to the government, and eventually in 2021, government has brought out a guideline that in this country, whether it is aerial, whether it is a terrestrial mobile mapping vans, or a physical survey, what are the do's and don'ts? And in 2022, a national geospatial policy has come in the form of a gadget, wherein they made it very clear that any Indian company, they're free to survey every inch of this land without taking any permission from anybody. That's the achievement of this government. But for the foreign companies, it has been made very clear that they can actually map the world, the territory of India, of 1 meter resolution. And if it goes beyond that, and physical survey through mobile mapping vans or from the drones or from the aircrafts is totally prohibited. But any Indian company who generates this data can actually share not the raw data, but the applications through API with any of the foreign companies. And in that gadget, it has been made very clear that for the country of India, for the major cities and towns, digital twin will be created by the year 2035. That's the goal which the government has set for the whole territory. We as a country, as a company, we felt this is an opportunity because we have been doing these mobile mapping vans for almost 15 years now. The permission that has been given for Street View is very lately because of the policy things. But when we found this digital thing has come, we invested in bringing 4 aircrafts, manned aircrafts, many of the drones, and of course the machines. And we have officially tied up with Survey of India, which is the oldest survey organization in the world, maybe more than 250 years old, to work hand in hand to proactively create as a content program to generate the 3D digital twins of many of the cities in the country. So as of now, while we talk, we are just completing city of Varanasi. We are executing now whole of Mumbai. So with that background, let me quickly put it across. So the utility is that we have been studying from our school days the maps, and this is very basic. Point, line, polygon, tick, boundary, annotation, this is how we know 2D representation is all about. In the school geography lessons, we have been studying that. But when we go in the form of a reconnaissance survey, in the form of any survey, when you go to the field, we found the situation is very, very different because the whole real world is very different than what we actually see it in the 2D map. So the objective is that we do it in what we call 2D GIS, Geographic Information System, and then we move it to 3D GIS, which is the 3D part of it. So why it was not possible earlier? Earlier it was not possible because of the computational power. And the user today would like to get these maps in the browser in the form of a mobile app to actually see that whole thing and then manipulate, analyze, visualize, put a lot of queries. It's a very compute intensive. Also it requires a lot of bandwidth. Now that all that is possible, this becomes a reality. So having said that, few basics. Mapping is a very tricky business, and a map has got no meaning unless it is there in the detail. So it serves the purpose. Many of the aspects, if we want to map the whole of the country, every day, you cannot do it with the drones kept here and there or the manned aircraft. So you require satellite. So every kind of sensor which is there either in the mobile pad or in the mobile or UAV or airborne or high altitude airborne or the space drone, they have got different kind of things, and the payload has got different kind of sensors. So in order to augment what is that utility you are actually addressing, different kind of payloads, different kind of sensors, different kind of at heights, power are being used for acquisition. So what we did, we have got today in Asia the largest survey infrastructure. We have got these Mahindra Scorpio vehicles that you see. We have got around 125 of those. On top of that, you have got 360 panoramic camera imaging, which goes along the right. So this is what you called Street View. We call it iStreet Vision as our trademark. Earlier it was launched as Onobo. And the one which you see in the backpack, today we are doing it in, those are from Mumbai, Dharavi. So all the slum mapping is actually happening on top of it. Very accurate mapping. And also, data acquisition is one part of it. But then it has to be processed. Each and every software that you require is very proprietary in nature. So every equipment comes with its own proprietary toolkit that you want to make. And our job is to now break that happen, see to that it is based on the open standards, and then how the interoperability happens so that the platform becomes very agnostic. So all kind of softwares we are using in the other very important aspect before actually come down to the main subject is that when we see and capture what we call is a God view and the man view. What you see it from the top is the God view. Perhaps you get many of the things, but not everything. So when I put it from the satellite, when you put it from the airplane, when I put it from the drones, I get many of the views, and then I also put the oblique camera so that I get a 3D perspective. What you see is the whirly. And we see the man view. That means when you go along the streets, specifically for the distribution lines, many of the times the detailing of the poles are actually missing from the drone or from the aerial systems, irrespective of the resolution of the camera. And that is where you require the 360-degree panoramic view, which are normally captured by either the narrow lens or by the ground view or maybe with the vehicles. The fusion of two of these things, when you put it actually in the browser, and that is what gives you a very integrated view. And the next step, that is what we have partnered with our colleagues here, is that once this model is created, and we'll be talking more about it, how we can bring in the augmented reality part to it, the virtual reality part of it, and how the actual operations that you are actually trying to see it remotely, how these two technologies can be integrated. So somebody has to generate the data in order to make it happen. So with respect to the utility asset management framework, very interestingly, two aspects: transmission utilities and distribution utilities. We of course try to do it, many of the GENCO part of it, the hydrographic of the things, dams and other things, drones are used. But by and large in this presentation, I'll be talking about the transmission and the distribution part, where asset part is very important, that what kind of inspection are you actually covering with the drones? What are the different kind of asset modeling? What are the different of the health of the things? Vegetation is very, very important for the transmission things and worldwide. It's not like specific to India. And perhaps the only technology is the LiDAR. When you actually see the wires, is the only thing that you can detect. The wires, how much of sagging of the things, wires has actually happened and things like that. Other aspect, many of the assets that you see for the transmission towers, transmission line, distribution poles. So entire life cycle from the survey to the data processing, reporting, creating some solution, then managing the services actually part of our framework. Interestingly, 3 phases, which you are all familiar and don't want to spend a lot of time on this. Pre-construction phase, construction phase, and O&M phase. So when you see pre-construction phase, by and large for the transmission is very, very important, because for the many of the greenfield project, the undulated, rugged terrain, people do not know how to go about. We have seen many times satellite data or Google Earth, many of the things it has been traditionally been used. But then airborne survey is very, very interesting for a long distance. But if it is for a short duration, few kilometers at a stretch when you go with the line of sight, drones comes very, very handy. Construction page again, we put as-built inspections, and for asset inspection also we do drone-based things. I'll have some examples to showcase. These are typically the things which are actually available. Many of them are interested in the towers, the pylons, the overhead lines, the jumpers, insulation. So these are the assets. Based on the sensor, whether you're seeing from the optical part of it or the thermal part of it or the LiDAR, sensor changes. Now there is a pros and cons. LiDAR is relatively heavy. And of course we have seen the good quality LiDAR, we do not place it in the drone because there are chances of things are falling down. But nowadays that lightweight LiDARs also coming. There is a restrictions by the government of India to bring in the Chinese drone, which are cost effective, very good, by and large used, but officially restricted. Government is actually supporting a lot of startups who are Make in India program, and a lot of new innovations are actually happening in this space. So it's a very fast evolving market. Plenty of sensors, hyperspectral, thermal, you get the optical, various angles. Things are evolving very, very fast. So in this presentation, by and large, we see that these are the various assets which are by and large being captured by the drones. And that is like the tower frame, the insulation cracks or not. We do have a product called TowerScape, mostly used by the telco service provider. So the crewmen do not have to travel all the things. Multi-story building on top of it again, many meters high, one has to climb. All that is gone because parallelly we go up and then we check up to the nut bolt how much is the rusting and we create it. It's not a very rocket science. If you go to GitHub, you'll find n number of libraries written by the BTech fourth year students that how to detect these individual assets. But the fact is that when you deal with the customer professionally, you have to put a very professional LiDAR, high resolution, detecting accuracy up to 98%, and then still manual part is still there. As of now, we are progressing. Now, this is the most important part, and as I told you, the definition is evolving, but let me talk about the digital twin. So the definition, the way it is coming, and ideally, what you see it in the real world, you should be in a position to replicate in the digital world. See, if the leaves of the trees are actually moving in the tree, and if you replicate very accurately, the digital world, the same leaf should actually move. Many a times, we get more than what we actually see it in the real world. Imagine a cyclone scenario, where there is a cyclone which has been predicted by Indian Meteorological Department. The cyclone is coming. We have predicted it is coming at 140 kilometers per hour. We know the path also. How many houses are there? What kind of houses? What are the rooftops? What is the material of the rooftops? What kind of towers are there in their way? If it falls, what are the impact? Now, these are what if scenarios. It is all about the predictive twin. Now, if you create a 3D model of the city, and then the landfall happens, there we cannot see wind with our naked eye. But with range of altitude, we can put animation of the wind with the direction and its magnitude. So even if you cannot see the wind, actually in the digital world, you can actually see how the whole wind is actually flowing. That's the beauty of the digital twin. So the objects, the processes, the relationships and the behavior, everything should be replicated. So I was telling you in the past that we have got the 2D maps and the 3D aspect, what we call 3D GIS, which has been there. So what is special about digital twin? So at the 3D GIS, we put the altitude and the dimension. If it goes below the earth, we also put the depth and the dimension. So proactively what we felt, these are few of the examples. We have carried out some work with drone, most of the things with the manned aerial craft, with the LiDAR and the optical sensors placed. And we have mapped many of these cities, around 50 of them. And the use cases vary from one industry to another industry. And these are actually available on the proactive model. So by and large, and this is the crux of it, so when the government tells it will take 2035, so there is a maturity. First and foremost, very important to create a very accurate geometric model. Whatever you're talking about. If you're talking about a pylon, if you're talking about a transmission tower, if you're talking about the lines, each and everything should be very accurate, visible, legible. So the data that you get from a satellite, maybe the best commercial satellite is 30 centimeter resolution. When you get in the drone, you get 3 centimeter resolution, 2 centimeter resolution. So what is the purpose? It all depends what is the purpose it is serving. Based on that, you will be creating the geometric model. And then you add information to it. Now what happens? If you are actually flying a drone, if you are going through a survey which is with the mobile mapping vans, you just get the image, you create the models, but it has got no life. Life will come when from your utility you have got all the attribute information you can link with that. And if that data is linked, then only the information will be there, and then you can put a SQL query on top of it so that it can have a meaningful analysis. Third part is the interactive twin. And this is the life of the whole digital twin, is the real-time communication. So having the geometric twin and the information placed on it, now you play around with the sensors. Sensors will give the live feed to and fro. Sensors can be from the IoT sensors, it can be from the satellite, like INSAR satellite data which is there, which will give you millimeter level subsidences which is happening on the ground. Next month, ISRO and NASA is going to launch one satellite called NISAR. It has got those kind of capabilities, interferometry synthetic aperture radar. And whatever the repetitive processes are there, we put it in a very automated mode so that it becomes an autonomous twin. And the crux of it, like we have been talking about the predictive maintenance and things like that, what is that you can predict based on all this information? So that is a scenario curation. What if scenarios? Normally we do have partners and couple of IITs, but mostly the European companies are very advanced in this. They do for the computational fluid dynamics, CFD models, which they create and create this kind of scenarios. So in a nutshell, if you see the geometric twin, this real world visual replica, so whether it is Unreal Engine or it is NVIDIA or Esri or Bentley Autodesk, Cesium open source, any of the data that is there, we are making it happen. And the information is coming from the line departments or the respective utility. And then this street view that we are talking about, that also comes on top of it. Next part is our collaboration, is all about the interactive twin, that when we place these geometric models, then how can we augment that in the augmented reality, VR or MR. And then we connect this data through the a number of microservices which can be customized. Autonomous twin, of course, we put these days the AML things relatively easy, but the degree of accuracy is something which is still challenging, and different things are at different stages of things. As I told you, the predictive twin, it is a recommended action, and I think we could able to get few, but job is still on. Just few examples so that you can relate the concept of digital twin well. Geometric twin. The geometry of the entire asset, whether it is thing at a centimeter level accuracy, millimeter level accuracy, that is how LiDAR is being used along with optical sensors. And that is how you see the vegetation is there, the tower is there, the individual lines are there, spans are there, how much of sagging is there. So these are all nowadays more or less automated. Once you get the data, even the platforms are in the cloud to make it happen. Informative twin, so once the data is there, you put it in a typical GIS environment, Geographic Information System. The softwares are there, COTS products are there, open source softwares are equally good. And then you put in a respective data model based on whatever the standards you follow. And Bureau of Indian Standards have also given few of the standards what should be the right data model to make it happen. But by and large, people use ISO and OGC, which is Open Geospatial Consortium models. This is what I've been talking about, that when you are talking about the interactive twin, it's not that one size will fit all. Different kind of sensors will providing different kind of data sets. What is the actual application? How are you going to make the whole things happen? Whether it is the thermal part of it, whether the chemical part of it, magnetic sensors, fiber, air sensors. It depends upon the use case, but the geometric model remains the same. But on top of that, how the sensors can interoperate. That's the beauty. Autonomous part, and we came across majority of the overseas project that we do is revolving around this vegetation. That how much is the vegetation is there. How much time this vegetation will come up based on the seasonal affair and actually touch upon the utility network. So this kind of autonomous things based on the seasonal patterns are actually being done. And of course, this is I told, multiple criteria is there on the input. What is the temperature, what is, and ultimately you tell this is the digital twin, so the internal conductor temperature at this point of time during this season is expected to be this. These are all plus minus modeling part, which is actually continuous process. So having learned the basics of what is 2D GIS, what is 3D GIS, what is digital twin, and some examples, what are the maturity models, how power things are there, I'll be touching upon few pictures just to make it little pictorial that how the aerial and terrestrial surveys are being done. Normally, very, very interestingly, we find when we talk about digital twin, most of the time people find what is there in the surface. But what is equally important is the terrain. If it is the digital terrain model, so terrain is equally important. And we do have these contour maps which can be generated, the cross-sectional profiles, the longitudinal profiles, and the 3D view. So there is a process that you start with the field recce, you carried out this kind of mission planning. So these are more or less automated these days. Those of you are not aware for them, let me put it across. From Director General of Civil Aviation, DGCA, who is actually granting the permission for the drones, there is a platform called Digital Sky. So there one has to apply when you buy a new drone, you have to go for a unique identification number, UIN. Once you get that, the pilot certification is also there, and then you have to apply that this is the area I would like to survey. Once you tell this is the area I would like to survey, very clearly in that area of interest, when you demarcate, there are 3 colors. You have got the green color, where no restrictions are there, but height restriction is there up to 400 meters. You can fly freely, no issues. But if you find there is a yellow zone, that means you are very close to the aerospace, airstrips, some facility, and red means military area and defense area and things like that. So things are very clear before you actually do, and once you start doing, and now they are integrating with lot of air traffic control, so that is the job in process. So many of the drone manufacturers in India, this processor, and there are some specific softwares which are helping. Many of the startups I have seen, they have been doing very well, small areas. There is a very large scheme called Swamitwa scheme for measuring the Abadi area of the individual villages, very large project. Almost everybody is engaged here. Again, this is the concept that when we talk about the laser scanning, and I'm giving an emphasis to the LiDAR because optical is one part of it, but laser is like a torchlight. If you just click it, every beam that it strikes, every point has got an X, Y, and Z value. So you get a very accurate dimension along with the elevation. So with that, like this is the LiDAR. Actually, if you see how the views are actually from the top, how much is the count and the growth predictions that are going to happen for the individual trees. This is from one of our partners called AM. They have provided the picture. This is how the LiDAR of the terrain is all about. So whether you are going with the videos or the steels, or whether you have got the infrared or the ultraviolet rays, based on the applications, these are all geo-referenced and tagged to the individual features to make it happen. Very high definition, as I told you, each and every aspect. So you can zoom in with a very high resolution camera, you can get the details. Recently, PLSS CAD, which is a very popular software, recently acquired by a company called Bentley. So this data can be straight away be consumed, and a lot of analysis can be done, and it is largely used by the industry. People are all aware of it. This is the beauty of the transmission line. So you can visualize, pan, tilt, zoom. So in the one which you can see below, so when you actually see, you have color classified this LiDAR data, and you can actually see the vegetation, how it is moving, what is the encroachment, and how much of trimming is required. Coming to the distribution lines, this is a very, very complex affair. We are all aware of it, that this is how the things needs to be managed. It's very tricky. And that is where we found many times drone is one part of it, but many times we don't get the right coverage. So either people are actually walking along the streets or going with the mobile vans. That becomes a little handy. One of the aspects, very small POC we did for one of the power companies in India. So they made it very clear that you need to find out for a specific stretch what is the vegetation clearance, what are the ground clearance, what are the vertical clearance from the individual buildings, what are the bare and insulated conductors, what are the multiple feeders on the poles, find out the messiness on the pole, all the degree for a specific area they wanted to see, how this kind of technology of drone surveys, terrestrial surveys with the mobile LiDAR and also with the digital twin can help. Total time which is being consumed, and then the gap comparison, because what is there in the repository of the records of the utility and what is that we have captured from the survey now from the drones, the analysis that what is that, in which areas probably things are getting missed out and things are pros and cons. So this is about a panoramic camera. We found that, okay, these are the things which are on top of it. By and large, we could able to say, and just this is just an example for n number of things from the bare conductor, how much is the distance from the trees, for a specific buffer area, how much is the distance. And we found by and large that with their data and our data, there is a gap, and gap is around 30 to 40%, because when you capture from the drone, many of the poles which are detected, which is not in actually records. It got missed out because of whatever. So updation of the records becomes very easy. So there have been a lot of learnings. How much is the overhead clearance for the individual things? Very accurately one can find out. So all those details have been useful. And we found that many times before you do, whether it's a brownfield project or a greenfield project, it's very important that if you do have these 3D data sets along with the clutter maps and also with the vegetation all around, it helps in a much better planning. And top of that, you can do the GIS analysis based on, of course, the things. So value proposition is very clear. There is a scale to handle several kilometers of things one can do. Technology, whether it is RGB, thermal, LiDAR, it is all available. Domain expert is there. EML platform, it is still evolving, I must say. So different things we have been learning every day. But most important part we realized in the interoperability. Many of the data sets, many of the legacy data sets are not interoperable with the current day platform. It's very much important that we stick to the open standards. And we have been chasing Bureau of Indian Standards. So they are very open that any problem which is there, I am a very active member of Bureau of Indian Standards writing for the Geospatial LITD 22. So those things helps. So in summary, the power transmission and distribution, inspection and asset management, we found that aerial and terrestrial surveys, very high accurate data are actually possible. 3D digital twins, these are very accurate geometric models, and that can be augmented for many of the asset related activities. The AML platform, as I told you, can detect various objects, conditions of the transmission towers, and the real-time sensor feedback, and this collaboration that we are talking about, how we can work together to benefit and to complement each other is also very important with respect to the real-time sensor feedback. And proactively, the data that is available, we are open to the problem statements that you are having in any of these cities where we have developed the data, how we can augment it. With this, thank you so much. If you have got any query, we can always respond. Thank you.
Do you have any questions?
So this is our yearly program, by and large. But normally we have what you have seen when we carry out manned aerial survey, we track it first with the satellite. And then we found the areas which are very frequently growing, those areas we make the change detection, which we call temporal analysis. And if the need be, based on the client request, we go for drones for localized and then update the data. But the aerial thing
What is the frequency of updating?
That's what I'm telling. We do once in a year, but based on
for a power utility, especially a distribution utility, connections are given every now and then. So how do you update all that data?
We are, as I told, we are by and large with the geometric twin of it, geometric model of it.
So photograph has to be taken time and again.
Yes, that's why it's on a need based. So we do it once in a year. If there is a contract, accordingly things can be expedited and can be done.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Hello.
Yes,
you have
audible.
shown the preventive maintenance module in which you have captured the imageries, photographs from the drone. So do you have something AI ML based in which cracks and different defaults, abnormalities can be found from the models?
We did this mostly for the telco towers.
Okay.
And we not only do it for India, we do it for a lot of overseas. They provide the data. We quickly process. It is like in thousands.
Basically, we have a drone in Noida Power Company Limited.
Okay.
And we have captured images around the pole, four type of imageries, 4 sections. And if we provide to our operations, then they are saying that it is very difficult to identify 1,000 imageries, defaults in 1,000 imageries, abnormalities and all. So is there any specific AI ML?
Let me tell you, it's a journey, as I told you, and let me be very candid about this. Almost entire COVID, we have learned this with respect to cloud platform with AWS. There is a lot of learnings. They have been learning through us by giving vouchers, you know. You get free vouchers, but it's a learning together. The platform got stable, and there are a lot of, because every software has got some, they are not cloud ready, first of all, to handle so much of data. To make it a specific platform, I don't want to name those, it is a journey in itself. But out of our necessity, we spent that time and energy along with their technical support team and AWS. And now that we are with the AWS, the Azure and the Google, they are also telling, why can't we do the same thing? So fact is all about how much of cost, how much of effort you would like to put.
Basically, if we are sitting in the forum, then some solution needs to be evolved from that. So basically, a feeder means some signatures should be captured from the abnormalities and fed into
Basically
the
training,
AI
as you
model.
correctly told. You have to training the data sets. More the data, better.
Yeah.
And believe me, we have been doing a job for one of the autonomous company vehicles. 250 people for 2 years. They were only doing one job. The movement of the retina of the eyes with a road segment. And at a particular stretch, every pair of retinas move right. And that is the training. That means there is something in that road, in that stretch, where every driver is looking right. It's a huge and humongous process and requires lot of data sets. And depends on the country also. It is geography. The things which will work for Noida, and it's a very varied terrain. So we have classified based on within urban, the skyscrapers, typical the things are like in Mumbai, of course, that is where we have started. There are skyscrapers, there are slums, there are other buildings. There are desertic environments, there are hilly terrains. One size will never work for all, and it will definitely give something, but that may not be right. So there lies the challenge. The claims are very tall, but when you go to the ground and then try to find out, this training the data set is the most important component for any kind of supervised classification that you do in the machine learning. Very rightly said.
So basically, if we are seeing that vegetation part you have shown in the demo.
That is more or less established.
Basically, what I have seen, if you are creating the point cloud and creating the offset for 10 meter, this vegetation purpose of pruning and giving to your division team for more tripping feeders, then I think the technology is not so much matured that they are providing a real kind of solution to discoms. So they are saying that they will go by run and start pruning the vegetation instead of going for the technology, because once you first you have to capture.
That becomes more cost effective at times.
Yeah. First you have to capture the imagery, then you have to process that imagery and then creating.
But there are ancillary benefits, because when you do a job, as I told you, let us be very honest and very clear in a workshop mode. When we created 3D models, it is not keeping in mind only power distribution lines. There are 30 line departments which are beneficiary for that. So as I told you, it's a data model that we create. Now based on the specific request that comes in, our next iteration, like ma'am told, what is the predicity of your update, that time we make special arrangements to see to that, how those things can also be addressed. So it is just the beginning, and things are getting engaged with the enterprises, also with the government. And based on the needs, what problems are going to solve, team is actually working on that.
basically for the this drone imageries, as you are saying that for the Summit, some
That
yojanas
land
are there,
records,
land
Panchayati Raj
records are there.
department, Swamit. And
So
of course now that Naksha program is also coming
yeah,
from
I think
Department of Land.
it is better than satellite imagery. It is a kind of 1.5 centimeter resolution, and if you are going with the satellite imagery, you can get only 30 centimeter, not more than that. And also dwelling units, and even we are applying on the theft part this drone imagery, and it is we are clearly identifying that those.
So
this
that's the
purpose.
plus part of it.
Yeah,
One should also know the minus part of it. Plus part of it is that you get a fantastic image, you can stitch. Now when you are assigning 10 different vendors to do the job, each of them are doing a fantastic job in themselves, but then there is the edge corrections. So between the adjacent images, so you have done sector A, he has done sector B, both of them very nicely, but then you correct, the mosaicing becomes a big challenge.
Yeah, but
Handling so many imagery at one point of time is again a challenge, because each and every so-called service provider has got a different level of understanding. So that's why it is very important. We told that we should have a very common operating picture, common guidelines, SOP, and it's evolving. That's what I'm telling. But in isolation, things are getting good, very good results.
Thank you.
Yeah, Keyur?
So I think the other questions can be taken offline. We'll have Bhagyesh. Bhagyesh will have 15 minutes. And the demos and all, maybe we can post the panel discussion. So I think we'll have panel discussion after this short presentation, where we'll have Ms. Kiran Gupta from TPDDL, Mr. Vikas Gupta from NPCL, and Mr. Sreedhar Venkat from BSRLP. Venkat is not going to join? Okay.
First of all, thank you for the spotlight. So I will be not taking much time speaking more about the facts. Can I have a screen? In earlier two sessions, first are majorly covering assistant reality, and second is creating a digital twin, gathering the all data and putting that into a virtual world that can be helpful for a training, that can be helpful to train your new workforce, or that can be leverage for your current workforce, because that is one of the major paining point of everyone, that our current workforce is aging, and the new generations, we have to attract that people. So working on that topic, I'm speaking more about how AR and VR will enable the smart, secure and sustainable operations for it. And our company is backed by 22 years of legacy that we have created ideas into reality. We are into 3 segments: education, sales and services. So we provided education from past 17 years, sales and services from 22 years. Our key expertise are from basic 2D CAD that start with the everything to the creating the AR VR based simulations, and in between them you can name it, we have it. So as per our one of the key foundational company's role or is a training, but since past 22 years we are providing training in rooms like this, but in this sector we cannot do the training like in this room and people are having with the pen and pencil they can write down. Every training has to be in an environmental, because retention ratio, as I am heard about that 2-3 people are saying about that retention is must. In many questions panelists ask about how to make the people are attentive, how to be aware of their SOP. So that first point is start with the virtual reality based training simulations, and what that can do. Not only I'm just here talking about technology, but this is a proven technology, the only technology that provides the detailed data, and that can be implemented to a 40% of safety increasing. At any incidents are happening with the virtual live scenarios, that 40% are starting from the first week, and 60% of knowledge retention ratio just because of a virtual simulation of environment. But that can only be possible when you have a scan data, as earlier sessions are said about how scan data can be helpful and digital twin can be helpful, and to predict that retention level knowledge.
Bhagyesh, you can show those videos.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. So we'll be switching for the videos. Video can be visible. So as every solution there has to be some problem, and we are here to give a solution.
Hiren, can you pull out the VR devices also?
It's not squeeze. Okay, let's keep that. Now let's focus on what we have and what we can show right now.
Is already changing the way we can deliver that knowledge. Digital Engineering and Magic designed and developed a VR training program that will provide a foundation of understanding the electrical equipment for persons working in, dealing with, or having a special interest in the electric utility industry.
You can
Exploring
utilize
a virtual
with the
substation
headsets
environment.
and controllers
During
as
training,
used.
participants
So
will be
this
provided
training
with
will be a
information on
fully
substation terms,
functional
brief
with
parameters,
the
and
controllers
performance
only.
rates. Virtual reality solutions are designed to help transmission and distribution companies to deliver fully immersive, repeatable simulation training that can be done whenever, wherever, and however often it's needed.
So this is the most efficient and traditional way to focus on it. But second, also if you want your digital data that merge with your physical devices to get more retention level ratio that I mentioned 60%, if you want to go further, that you can use real life scenarios as like fire safety scenarios. You can have your real fire extinguisher with the sensor top of it, and you can train your staff, train your employee to be get more retention level ratio above 60%.
So nowadays what has happened is generally when we talk about VR and AR, either there are AR solutions, there are VR solutions, correct? Where we have a headset and we try to create a simulation. Since last 1.5 years, the phygital solutions have come in play where we are actually connecting the VR kits with the physical equipment. So let's say for example, we'll have that fire extinguisher, sensor is placed, and that is connected with the VR haptic device, as in controllers, and you can have the scenario being created as if you are actually in the fire, and then through the use of the haptic glasses, haptic controllers on the physical extinguisher, it becomes easy for you to learn the actual simulation. So when it happens, the problem was in the VR, हमने अच्छे से कर लिया, मजा आ गया, बस सिनेरियो आता है तो पिन खोलने का ही प्रॉब्लम है, कहाँ से है, A, B, C, again the other problem. So people started relating it with the actual equipment only, so that in case the scenario happens, it is easy for someone to replicate the approach.
Yes, and if your task force, or if you not wanted to start with the VR, so you can also start with the AR and start getting a leverage out of it. And a leading energy company, that they streamline their whole maintenance process into a AR tablet based mode, not same similar as you shown in earlier assisted door. They don't want to invest in the early stages, so they started with the tablet, and they shown the research that 60% of downtime reduction, 50% of maintenance time reduction, and 33% of error decrease, and 20% of fixed rate improvement. So this will be the least changing in this industry. And then you can add VR, and then you can add assisted reality that can help all the multiple layers, because you have to train your people, you have to train your system, or you have to manage your things through every aspect of it. But to be fair, before managing, first you have to design first. And to design first, you have to keep on traveling from 200 to thousands of kilometers from here and there to just manage the multiple substations and manage the multiple locations if you want to expand into multi-cities. So at that time, for a design review, second one is coordinations with your multiple stakeholders, having every member at the same time. That can be happen with using a directly virtual environment that can help people to more focus on how they can be easily navigate at a single location to collaborate for a speeder review and completing that project into tentative timeline. So this product is Autodesk Workshop XR, the recently launched by Autodesk in past 1 month ago. If you have a 3D CAD model of your upcoming or current data, you just have to wear your device, and you can share this as you are sharing the Zoom link or Google link to your stakeholders. Everyone is there at your site, and now you can inspect each and every scenario of a building. You don't have to travel further, and this will be not a recent use case. Smithsonian, they have created National Airspace Museum, saving thousands of miles in only travel systems. You can utilize this thing into this sector too. And this doesn't require any prior coding knowledge or things. You just need your 3D model, you have to import it, but your 3D model having a data that sir mentions earlier, that digital twin level data there, if you have, you can have access this kind of it within a fraction of second. No need to create any model, no need to create any applications. So you can utilize these things too while creating your So for the design purpose and review your progress, you can utilize that virtual reality based Workshop XR platform too. So coming into real lifeline scenarios, a smart grid management that you can detect the errors. I think I heard anybody say that they are using AR to get their wiring line and getting the errors. That is combining workforce of a GIS and AR. The best way case scenario of complementing GIS and augmented reality into a single segment, and then combining to that will benefits multiple people. And we have one case studies in this use case, that National Grid Corporations of United Kingdom, they have created They have a challenge of difficulty in monitoring high voltage station, as everyone is having the same scenarios over here too. Critical asset spreads over vast geographical areas. So if they wanted to manage each and every area, so they have created a digital twin first, and then that integrated the digital twin into a virtual reality based system. So everyone can use that kind of devices and roam around that substation. They have data. I think many of you are asking about thermal imaging. You can add the sensors and you can have the data. But if you want to train your staff, you can use assistive reality. But to predict and to check further anytime, you can utilize this thing, same anywhere, anytime. So this, by implementing this kind of situations, this kind of examples, they have the studies came out that 30% of reduction in failure of that systems are reduced. And this 30% seems less, but when you see the whole United Kingdom, this will be a very large money. And 25% increase in your lifespan of your all assets, that will be also a larger number when you are focusing to multiple cities or a whole country, if you are focusing that larger amount of area too. So many scenarios that can be replicated, many things can be created, but have you ever tried or have you ever seen that can we create this kind of scenarios in real life, in training? As of now, I don't know. We cannot replicate this kind of scenarios in any kind of training, in any kind of possibilities that replicate your real life incidents, to recreate and to train your task force to be ready if any further same things happen in the next time, or their attention level to rapidness to work further in these situations. So this cannot be done again and again and again. So only the virtual safety training that can help us, and also I have bring the demo. If you want to start, if you wanted to try for it, we can have this after.
So, sure, we can do that. Session. So after panel, I think we'll you can set up the demo.
Sure.
So just to conclude few things, in VR what we have seen, generally the use cases which we are able to foresee. So one is the scenario simulations. It could be working at heights, it could be fire and safety, it could be confined spaces, it could be any health and safety related simulations which are created. And the other use cases typically which come out in VR are the equipment trainings or the complete process training. So people scan the entire, let's say a DSS or a entire setup, and then they try to give a process training. One of the use case which we are doing with Adani electricity, where we are converting all the equipments. It could be switch gears, it could be the transformers. We are converting that into a 3D and making a complete procedural training modules available in AR, available in VR, and available on web. So that each of the team members, from the lineman to the manager, are able to understand each of the equipment and they know what they are working on, correct? So again, there are a lot of use cases. Maybe post panel discussions, Bhagyesh will set up some of the demos on VR glasses. We can see it. Various form of VR are there. One is simple creation of a video, as in we can create 360-degree videos, 360-degree images. Then that's one VR. Other is interactive VR, where there are companies like Matterport which creates 360 images at each steps, and you can convert that into a setup. Then there are areas where we create digital replicas and then create other simulations.
Yes.
So Bhagyesh, just make those things ready. Maybe yes. And apologies, we are giving you less time.
Yeah, no issue. Just giving up with the last thing that I think many of you are investing so much into many part of area, and many of you are free from the current states of stock market. So if you wanted to invest in this area or a segment, you can see that VR market share is in 2022 is 59.96 US billion. And approximately after the 9 years that could reach the 284.4 US billion. So keep your investments high in this industry, and you can save your task force, you can create a new task force, and also you can gain new money out of it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much, Bhagyesh. And again, sorry for giving you less time. Sashi, please, if you can. So if we can have Ms. Kiran Gupta and Mr. Vikas Gupta on stage, please. And if we can request people who are sitting on this side, there is a lot of space here, if they can just move. So how we will start is we'll quickly have a introduction first. So maybe what area you work on, correct? In NPCL, you can talk about it, and then we move towards the question. Maybe so that at least the audience is aware in what area or capacity you are. Hello.
So myself Vikas Gupta, and I am working as a DGM automation in Noida Power Company, and I have a interest and area of specialization in GIS, remote sensing, and drone technology, virtual reality, and immersive technology. I think.
Ma'am, if you can just introduce yourself.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Kiran Gupta, and I come from Tata Power. So I'm having around 3 decades of experience overall in power sector, and I had the opportunity of working with the transmission sector as well for around 3+ years. And that was Powerlinks Transmission Limited as CU&ED, which is a joint venture with the Power Grid and Tata Power. So I could very well relate to this, and at that time I got this insight that how the maintaining the transmission network, because till that I had good experience understanding of the distribution, but transmission came as a really an eye-opener, and that is the time that I took upon this project of drone and all, using the drone for the maintenance of the towers and whatever are the defects in the transmission system part of it. So so this is it on my experience, and I always try to find out that how as a power sector professional I can add value, and why we should not have some technologies. But again, at the same time, I would also add that because it mostly it comes in a regulated regime. So many a times, and most of the times, if I can be more precise, we find ourselves stuck in those regulatory chains, and we are not able to actually wish for what we would like power sector to be. Okay. Thanks.
So what I'll do is I'll first start with a very generic question, like basically what kind of technology, and you can even overgo the emerging tech as well. So it could be IoT, it could be any technology which currently at an organization level you have explored, and in case if it's already implemented at a pilot stage, if you can just throw some light on the technology which I guess it has been taken for.
For the drone technology, we have early bird in the year 2017. We have put in our drones and drone flying in our area when there is a very stringent guidelines from the DGCA that you have to take the permissions from the police department and administration. So we have procured the drone and established the use cases like vegetation management, that we have to do the 3D mosaic of vegetation with the analysis of creating the 3D point cloud from this orthomosaic imagery, and setting the offset of around 5-10 meters for those feeders which are obstructing the power lines. So that power lines in which tripping is there, and that particular thing is to be catered by the drone data with the lat long, and we will provide to the our division team for getting the pruning out so that the minimal breakdown should be occurred. Second thing, there are 4 use cases. One is this vegetation management, and second one is that electricity pilferage. So we have the orthomosaic data from the drone in which there are different type of wires which is called hooking wire or some kapda sukhane wali tar or some cables would be there. So we have identified those things from the models developed in AI/ML through softwares and provide those suspected theft cases to our loss control cell in which they will initiate the theft booking on that. So around, I think, initially out of 6, 10 out of 6 cases were booked on the basis of that. And certainly management will happy with the ROI getting from this. Third, we have a rapidly emerging area in Greater Noida. So a lot of constructional changes are there. So we have land-based changes are there. With the help of this drone imagery, we can identify the change detection from 2 types of imagery and getting our substation, network augmentation, network link plan in our license area. So this is also a proposed substation location would be identified in which some substations are vulnerable for overloading capacity. And fourth one is the preventive maintenance that Mr. Roy has already told that we are establishing some AI/ML techniques for this, and we have made the model with special signatures feeding into our models on the basis of that. And I think we are achieving the accuracy of 70 to 80% from this. So these 4 use cases, we are successful there. We have our own drone in which one UIN number as depicted by DGCA is there.
So I'll come back to you for questions on ROI and cost benefit, so you can just think through. Ma'am, on your side, so what could be or what are the digital or immersive technology which you have tried implementing or at least visualized? I think it's your segment is more customer experience and that segment. So have you tried implementing those technologies, or what has been your experience?
Yeah, definitely. So before coming to the customer segment, which is a specific one, as I shared that around a year back, I was in Powerlinks Transmission Limited. So we had started using drones. So as of now, that has been scaled to the entire Tata Power, and we are using drones in our distribution companies as well, in Odisha companies as well, because the geographies are large, and we found not 1 or 2, or I mean, there are ample number of use cases. So we started with the inspection of the transmission towers, because in our area of work, around 8 to 10% of the towers were such that they were totally submerged in the river, right? So it is like from the eastern till the northern region, that belt is there. And so the towers are submerged, and as a part of the our requirement, we are supposed to do the inspections and all the routine maintenance. But because they are totally submerged, so it was like a little unsafe. And that's how the thought of having a drone to ensure the inspection right up to the top of the tower. So we thought that why not start using the drones. So, so initially there were some hiccups, but I think we as a team, along with our, in fact, in-house IT, I would share, we were able to successfully develop our own image analytics platforms. And we had lot many starting from the vegetation, the insulator damage, and the cracks on the insulators, which are really not quite very clearly visible in our routine inspection. But from the drone, because it is taking pictures, images from the top and the nearest sides, and also we could capture many of those areas. And the whole objective was to do the predictive maintenance, and thus having a proactive approach to kind of do the O&M and make it more and more effective and efficient. That was one on the overall O&M part of it. Second was also on the geographies in the Odisha. We had because there is a very large geography and it goes into the dense forest, and also there are some meters so which go beyond our reading capabilities. So why not use drone, and why not have those meters like installed with the Bluetooth enabled meters, and then drone at least can go little closer to those and we can get the readings. So that was on the commercial part of it. So O&M, commercial. And then third, we also decided to use drone for enhancing the safety in our work area, because both in transmission, distribution and generation, even our renewable clusters is also using. So why not have safety surveillance through drones? So that is also going on, and I think there are many of our colleagues from Odisha divisions also here today. And we are very successfully using those. And not only one is capturing the image, it has also gone as a kind of understanding to the employees that a drone could be coming from anywhere and capturing or taking the image. So they better be cautious. Because as we know, I mean, using the simple PPs, but at times in haste or maybe at times because of productivity and all, we just tend to bypass one or two norms. So I think we have lot many use cases, and we have decided to use drones. We have also given pilot trainings to two, 3 employees from our various divisions. So we have good plans to scale up the usage of drone, and pilot trainings are given. Yes, initially there were challenges that image, there is a SOP which was prepared, and the image capturing, it has to be from a distance, it has to be from an angle, so that actually it is something like, as we have been discussing in my yesterday's session also, we discussed the data which goes into the system, it plays a very important role. So what kind of image, it is we who have to define that this is a good image and this is a bad image, right? That if an insulator, there is a crack, if there is a line like this, so I have to define it's a crack. So I think data plays an important role, and lot many trainings have been given to many employees, and we took this project for around, now this is I think 3rd year of the project at least. But now I think the teams are well versed with it, and we would very gradually, I mean, it would remain as a hybrid kind of an option for the O&M, for the commercial part of the business and for the safety, because you can't be 100% in the regulated regime. But yes, as of now, the plan is to have it as a hybrid, and that's it. So I think there are many use cases, and there is a good plan at least with Tata Power.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. That's great to hear. Sir, just to understand the approach towards technology, correct? When it comes to any new technology, the ROI, while ultimately business works on ROI, but then to define it on day one is difficult. So then what's the approach? Many a times it is from the top down, where the top management, or let's say in your case, let's say you need to be very clear on the vision that, okay, this is going to work, and take some bold calls on pilots, understand the business case, and then go forward for a large-scale deployment. So how do you work around the ROI template, or are there any frameworks internally being used as NPCL?
So, very good question. Actually, when we envisage some technologies in the DISCOM, then sometimes if we are doing the POC and the costing of this technology is very, very high and ROI is very, very less, then certainly the stakeholders, top management would reject those technologies. So for one good example, recently I have encountered when we are doing this LiDAR-based vegetation management. So somebody has told it is very good, and you have to do we are providing the 3D ortho mosaic and 3D point cloud, and giving the offset with this automatically and in the very minimum time. So my operation guys always told that if we have taken the cost of this project, then in compared to a manual running of the man, it is very high. It is 10 times high. So technology should assist like in the way that the cost should be like it should be amicable with the stakeholders, amicable with the utility. And certainly there are a lot of things like drone with theft detection. So certainly it is a very good example of giving the ROI. Suppose we have booked, we have invested 1 lakh rupees, 2 lakhs rupees and getting 50 lakhs revenue for getting the theft cases to be collected, then definitely the management would go with this good type of ROI. So certainly technology will assist, but certainly you have to take care of the things which utility with DISCOM requires.
Correct.
So third, other use cases I have told to you, we have also trained our own pilots. We have our own micro drone. So we fly and reaping the benefits from that by theft cases, by land-based changes, capturing the land-based changes. So this is what.
Thank you. So I think we have seen, especially in DISCOM, the operational costs are again a challenge. So definitely, I guess it's important. Ma'am, for you, so when we implement any new technology, what we have seen at the ground level or maybe even at a senior level, sometimes people feel that technology will replace us, correct? So change management is what we have seen as wherever there is a heavy reliability on the people, whenever we try to implement a technology, there is always a pushback which many a times we get from the workforce. So what kind of change management steps as an organization if you take, or what has been your approach when it comes to any deployment of new tech?
So I think definitely any change is like initially there is a bit of a resistance, and there is not the teams, whether it is the employees or whether it is our customers. So they both are apprehensive about it. So I think the very first thing which any leader or anyone at that position, the vision which one has for like at one's own level, that vision has to be kind of made acceptable to your stakeholders, whether it is customers or employees. And for that, I think a connect, talking to them, making them understand the benefits of the technology, being with them, and winning their trust. I think that's where the catch is. So even if it is with the customers, like, so the customers would be happy to have a technology if they get benefit out of it. So no doubt, like if there are some customer interactions, but nowadays customers, they don't treat us as a discoms or a conventional like a power distribution company, isn't it? They compare us with the e-commerce and they compare us with any of the banking interactions. Correct. And they expect us to be firm and clear, and they just expect us to be there within hours, right? Whether it is a meter installation, whatever the regulator gives me, timelines, no one is bothered. Even I have 5 days, but a customer would start calling. So I think my guy at the call center, that's where AR, VR, those kind of features, they can be very helpful, like in enhancing and delivering that customer experience. Because one should know that where it is stuck, and one should be able to connect to the back office. And just to tell everyone, we at TPDDL, we are using the VR system within our new connection process. So that's precisely that the guy in the front end can connect with the back office and find out that where exactly it is, and give a very firm and clear response to the customers. So I think they would be with us. And similarly with the employees, there is a hitch whether it was the drone project, but I think if you have a clarity at your end, and then you kind of have that close connect, give some trainings and all, and also inculcate that culture of innovation, and just share that where the world is moving. So you just one need to share the vision, and that's how the team would then start understanding. And so I think then it happens. It's not really, I mean, tough.
Okay.
I mean, yeah.
So as a conclusive statement, or as a last question,
to both of you, correct? You can answer individually. Is what should company be, as a technology, what are the technologies which you feel we should be adopting today so as to be prepared for tomorrow? Or what needs to be done as part of your vision on the technology front? What are the areas where you are trying to focus so that, let's say, as a company, you are ready for next 5 years, 10 years of growth?
Basically, for the drone technology, the DGCA should be less stringent regarding the rules, because right now rules of DGCA regarding the green zone, because earlier when in 2017-18 they are very strict regarding flying the drones. So now they have demarcated red, green, blue, red, green, yellow zones. But if I am seeing, because recently we have acquired the Chandigarh Power Distribution Limited, in which the entire area is, 90% area is in the red zone. So with respect to this Greater Noida area, which is in the green zone. And right now we are acquiring some villages near Hindon Air Base. So there is a problem of creating the database from the drone. So we have, when we are envisaging this Chandigarh power distribution, we are seeing that we will go for the drone survey. It is a easier 1.5 centimeter data, and then we will we will create the base map easily. The sectors are easily planned. Just drape their master plan maps and get the DT consumer indexing ready. So we will go with in 2-3 months everything for the Chandigarh. But now I am seeing that there is a very less probability of flying the drone near there, because it is entirely a red zone. Nobody will give permissions. So for the power discom, some regulations should be made by the DGCA less stringent, because we are going to supply the uninterruptible supply to the consumer, and we are responsible for that. So regarding this technology exploration and enhancement, they have to do like so. And regarding more on the virtual reality, we have also implemented virtual reality, and we have software as well as GoPro camera, sound recorder, and this Oculus. So we are going to implement for the training modules, like preventive maintenance of the transformer for safety purpose. If somebody is going to see and he is a new guy, he can see those videos easily and get the things up. And basically Power Discom has something which is, if somebody is creating the technology, then somebody also suggests with creating use cases and ROI.
Correct.
Instead of what I am seeing in video, if around 2-3 years back, I have collected that 3D model and shown to some stakeholders, then he's seeing it looks very beautiful. But what is ROI? How it will assess? Because we are investing so much money. So that part of it is also included when we are creating something for that.
Got it. Thank you so much. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so I think I also believe that I think one is from the regulators, the support from the regulators, which we should get in terms of kind of positioning themselves as an enabler to the discoms or the transmission companies. That's something which is very much required. And another is, I think, from the service providers, the OEMs or the service providers also, because when we wanted to purchase a drone, so I think there is some DGCA certifications are also there. So I think the entire ecosystem need to be kind of value adding to make all these things actually get executed at the ground. But we had a wish, we internally developed things, but we got stuck, we didn't get the drone. The OEMs, they said that they have the type 2 certification, but finally they were not able to deliver. So I think the entire ecosystem need to be looked in a manner that the time, we don't lose time.
Correct.
So I think the regulators and everyone, as he mentioned, that if it is a red zone, so I think from time to time, one need to review the regulations and make the required changes. That is one. Second is, I think that the kind of images and all, that part of the architecture which is required for this thing to happen, these analytics and all. So a lot of use cases and lot of image capturing, but I think many of it's a transmission or distribution. So it is not nothing different, right? The kind of defects which any distribution company would have, whether it is Tata Power Delhi or Odisha or NPCL or Chandigarh, I think the defects would be the similar, isn't it? We are having the same infra substation, the same transformers and the breakers. So why not the OEMs and all the service providers, why don't they have their own use cases and try to bring that on table while we start executing the project, so that at least 50% of the work, which is the basic and which is quite common and uniform, it would also ensure uniformity in the, which would be a bottleneck otherwise in the long run, right? We saw it happening in the case of the meters. So every meter OEM came with his or her own APIs and all, and then like there were issues for the interoperability. So in the same manner, I think that 50% of the chunk which is common to all the discoms or the transmission companies, that if one OEM has done, I think that should be used, that effort put in, the time, energy, resources put in should be encashed. So it would also save time, and also it would save the money, the cost part of
ROI
it. It
will
would
be
be
better.
cost,
Yes,
yeah, ROI would be better. Because the capital investment regulations are not anywhere like supportive as of now. So for us to take that step, first deciding on your own, then taking the stakeholders, customers, employees, and then comes the regulators and all. So I think so it would help us to make the entire thing cost effective. So I think that is also another area where the OEMs or service providers, they should look at it, that how they can encash upon the data. If they have prepared a use case in some discom, so that should be shared, I mean, well within the cost part of it. So I think these are the areas, and the use cases, as I shared, I think I don't find that there is any dearth of the use cases. It's not time to execute and time to get going over
So
the
it is a
things.
sync between the OEM, the technology provider, the discom, the power companies, and the regulators. I think if they are collectively looking at achieving something, and the vision should be collective and the approach should also be collective, so as we can achieve what we want to achieve by 2035.
Right.
Yes. I think thank you so much. Thank you, Vikas ji. Thank you, Kiran ji,
Thank you
for your time. Over to you, Shashi.
If there is any question.
Yeah, please. If there are any questions, we'll take up 2 or 3 and.
Now everybody is waiting for the gala dinner. So yes, please join us upstairs in Crystal 1 and 2 for the closing ceremony of the event. Thank you so much. Special thanks to Keyur and his team. You have been working with us for making this workshop a success for so long. So yes, requesting Ms. Kiran to felicitate our speakers with the token of appreciation, please.
Yes,
thank you so much, Vikas. Well said. So finally, requesting Ms. Kiran to felicitate Keyur with a token of appreciation, please. Everybody give him a huge round of applause, because he has really worked so hard for making this workshop a success. Thank you so much, Keyur, for joining us. Vikas Gupta from NPCL. Thank you for having us. Yeah. We have Bhagyesh Patel. We have Bhagyesh also. Ms. Kiran, please felicitate him with a token of appreciation. Thank you, Bhagyesh, for having your presence. Hiren Kanani also. Ms. Kiran, please, yeah, please provide him a token of appreciation.
We still have VR demos available, so Bhagyesh has made it ready. So in case
And at the end, Keyur, now you can please come forward and felicitate Ms. Kiran with a token of appreciation.
Yes, sure. We'll have one group photo.
Yes, we'll have it at the end. Now, finally, a group photo, please. Everybody, please join us. Yeah. Dr. Aniruddha Roy, so sorry. Dr. Aniruddha Roy, please. Please come forward for a token of appreciation. Everyone in the hall, please join us for gala dinner in the Crystal One.